Midweek stock market update, everyone, and it's a tricky one. Let's get right into it, and this is where we are at. That's valuation, same old, same old. Share price to profitability, that's what you can see there. Red means overvalued, green means not so overvalued. But valuation is not the only factor which drives prices, and price earnings ratios are only one measure of valuation. Because as you can see over the past week, this is how the companies have performed, and across the board, they've been higher. Now, that's unusual because actually it's not been a broad-based rally up till now. Is that a good thing? Well, general orthodoxy says it is. In actual fact, it's not, because if you've got a lot of overvalued companies and everybody's rising, that suggests a bubble. Okay, so let's see in a second the chart. Before we do that, price earnings growth ratio, another measure of valuation. That again suggests companies are overvalued. So let's look at some of the bellwethers. So far, year to date, the Nasdaq is up 36%. That's pretty much my pension. S&P 500 up 14, which is double what the UK markets are up. As you'll know from my Financial Times columns and so on, I've not been invested in UK stocks for 23 odd years. It's been really American listed companies. That's the S&P 500. That's the one you really want to see. That's what you want to know about. And that upward trend, whilst that continues, I am expecting just a little bit of a pullback. What you see on screen there is the weekly stochastic, which tends to be very sensitive, the monthly stochastic, a little bit less sensitive, and then the monthly and weekly MACDs, which are less sort of moving in tune with the markets in the very short term, so less sensitive, but more important. So less sensitive, more significant. Okay, and that's the way to look at it. And over there, I would expect some short-term falls off this and some profit taking. So I'm certainly not doubling down on any positions at the moment. The FTSE, as I've called it for quite a while now, and I've called it right, we're expecting falls on that. And that's what you've been getting. Okay, simple. There's not much more to say on that. Apple. Again, could we see some falls where it is overbought, but those falls should be short term because that is good upward momentum, and the monthly is good upward momentum as well. But like I said, you may well get a drip back to that before you get that, and that's what my anticipation there is. Now with these, look, I don't care what analysts think, but I'm just showing you this. The average analyst thinks the price should be 185. The price is 188, so it's pretty much where the analysts think. In actual fact, the price should be closer to that. What have we got with Alphabet? Now you can see Alphabet is a bit further along the road than Apple in terms of pulling back. And that pullback is what you would expect will happen with Apple, and indeed it probably will. So the monthly sort of goes sideways before moving back up. This pulls down a bit, makes you think it's going to pull back further, but it's not. It's going to do that. This sort of comes down and you think, oh my God, that's it. The rally's over. Let's get out. But actually it's going to do that. All right. So no time to panic at all. On normal service, upward service will be resumed in any event. That's what the analysts think. The price is below the average of what they think it will reach, and certainly what the highest analysts think. Okay, Microsoft, again, you can see a whole bunch of banks there, from JP Morgan to UBS to Credit Suisse, all liking it. Similar kind of story. It's pulled back a little bit. So it's not pulled back as much as Apple, what I expect to happen is it could be anywhere in that range and still well within that upward trend. So if it pulls back a bit, I don't care. Just time to watch and sit back. That's the analyst for you. Amazon, this has barely moved at all. But again, like the others, should come down a little bit. Maybe it'll only drop this. Maybe it'll drop as much as this. Either way, not time to panic. Just time to keep holding. Okay, as UBS and JP Morgan and Morgan Stanley and Bank of America and Wells Fargo are all suggesting as well. That's what the analysts think. Don't really care what they think. One of them thinks it should be double the existing price. That's the analyst which is correct. Disney, same old, just waiting. Okay, so just to show that I'm not Superman of investing, that did happen. Now, NVDA, again, if you're risk averse, you would sell 100%. If you're risk loving, you'd double down. It's as simple as that. If you can see into the future, then you don't need me and you'd know what to do. And since I can't see into the future, I would say to myself, well, I might sell 10% of this if it drops 10%. If it drops 20%, I might sell 30% of it, and so on, okay? Based on my risk appetite. You can control the risk appetite. You can't see into the future and you can't control the markets. This should do this, as I've shown from when I drew that, which was in January, when we got in January. So any sell-offs will be short in time, duration, and limited. They'll scare you, as this scared me. And it might go as far as this, and you'll think, oh, that's it, that's the end of the world. It might even go as far as that, end of the world, and then it'll do that, okay? And that's the job of the markets. It's to remove as many people off its back as possible at any given time by putting the fear of losing money into them. That's Meta, still on a rip. Okay, so again, I'm not worried because I don't expect it to fall off. Any pullbacks will be and should be short in duration. The banks will still love it. Okay, Chipotle, sideways for a while. If you're risk averse, you'll just exit, take your profits that you've got. You're welcome. You can buy me a Chipotle. That's the direction of travel for that one. And you might say limited time to move forward. Otherwise, if you're risk loving, you'll say, well, 12 months aren't up. I'll keep to your normal rules. Alpesh service now, still love it. There we go. Nothing to worry about. Nothing to worry about. Okay, simple as that. Don't forget to have a look at all of this. Thank you all, people. Have a look at alpeshpatel.com/links as well. I'm hosting an event in Parliament on July the 20th. You'll see an event. You'll see an invite come up at some point in the next week on my private Telegram channel. So have a look on that, especially if you're on pipspredator or Great Investments Program. The invites will be just for you guys. Okay, so speak to you soon. Thank you very much.